I know, I know. I'm milking this thing, but I mean, everyone else is doing it, so why not? This is an interesting video to make because I did something like this similar about a year ago and I thought it was good, but now that the game is revealed and showcased, I think it's a good time to talk about a few things I want and don't want in the RE4 remake. So 5 things that combine the don't want and want factors. But anyways, let's continue. So the number one thing I want that I'm surprised a lot of people are not talking about is for a soundtrack to pay homage to the original in the best way possible. The RE4 soundtrack is without a doubt one of the best video game soundtracks for Resident Evil, and there shouldn't be any debate about that. I've been slowly waiting to see what Capcom is cooking up for Serenity and the save theme, but from the remix we got of the Drive/First Contact song, it sounds like it's going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to the soundtrack. Music has been a staple in the Resident Evil franchise, and RE4 Remake, I would say, needs a really good soundtrack, just like the original. Now let's move into something I don't want in the RE4 Remake, and that is the heavily rumored Louis-Sarah boss fight. This would honestly ruin a lot of things for me. Completely changing the character of someone we loved and were saddened when he passed would personally be a huge mistake by Capcom. If you even find a way to just make it work, like let's say he's an undercover scientist for Sadler and all of a sudden turns on Leon and becomes a boss fight, I would absolutely laugh and be quite triggered, because no matter how interesting it sounds, it just wouldn't feel right. What would be really cool is if, let's say, Luis is still working for Sadler after Leon has entered the village, and over time he slowly turns good and helps Leon out as much as he can, and Sadler then feels betrayed, then kills him. It would be a nice twist, but then again, it has a possibility to not work as well. But we shall see, and I believe that rumor is extremely false about the boss fight. Now for something I do want is improved dialogue mid-game. This can be such a good thing since the original didn't get this. Leon talking about the events of Raccoon City to Ashley, Ashley talking to Leon on how life was before the kidnapping, what she went through during the kidnapping, the merchant telling funny stories to Leon or mentioning creepy things about the village to Leon, Krauser mentioning Operation Javier and his descent to darkness. You literally name it. I want more. It would be a really great thing to see. It's one of, if not the perfect things you can do to add to the game's story lore on characters, the environments, you name it. It also helps for new players to find out on who these people are. Now, let's move into something I don't want to see, and that's cutscene QuickTime events. Now listen, I know the best QuickTime event stuff was with the Krauser knife fight, but I'm going to exclude that. There are some QTEs that just completely draw you off guard, like you escaping the boulders, the Verdugo throwing a knife at you, etc. I am 100% fine with the events of a Ganado has a hold of you, dodging an axe from those knights, Krauser during his final boss fight. I hope they do expand on gameplay QTEs, which I do think they are, as the combat seems to be expanded as well. I just wouldn't mind taking a nice break and not be caught off guard. The Krauser knife fight I'm okay with though, that can stay, unless if you want to change it to something like a straight on knife fight where you're controlling Leon like on some Last of Us type of energy, and once you either do enough damage or last long, the fight is over and Ada comes to save you. Now for the last thing I want to see is flashbacks to help the story and flesh it out more. Now I don't want flashbacks to be like 60% of the cutscenes of the game, but just key ones to help the story out. For example, Krauser and Leon in Operation Javier, Luis when he was a scientist and escaping from Sadler, Ashley's life before getting kidnapped, and her running away in the village like we saw in the reveal trailer. Those things can easily be touched on, and I'm on board with it, and I don't think it hurts the story at all. It honestly could help it out extremely well. The original story in RE4 wasn't the best, and this is coming from a guy that has his favorite game of all time as Resident Evil 4 Original. But again, the story wasn't the best or perfect by any means. But there are many ways to improve it, and I think some flashbacks can do the story extreme justice and help it out by a ton. Now that I'm done rambling, I want to know what you guys want or don't want to see in the remake. I would love to hear your thoughts, but on top of all that, thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be very appreciated, while also clicking the subscribe button as well. I'm trying to hit 5k subs before the end of the year, so I would really love you guys eternally if you ended up doing so. I hope everyone has themselves a good day, a good night, and a good sleep, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.